Hello and welcome to Agrestal Vestige, where we are vested in all things Agrestal. My name is Tom, and yet again I'm here with you this week with another blended Scotch Whisky review. This week we have Highland Queen. Alright, what is Highland Queen? Highland Queen is bottled at 40% alcohol by volume. It says a true legend since 1561. They've even engraved it on the bottle there, 1561. It says since 1561, Mary Queen of Scots has embodied the enduring and noble values, history, and independent spirit of Scotland. Well, usually all that you see on the bottle is flannel. It's just marketing. But let's see what it is in the bottle. Again, this is one of those, like the past couple of weeks, that you don't see very much in stores. I happened upon a store recently that had an abundance of this sitting on the shelf. And I have tried it, as you can see, and there's a reason there's an abundance of it on the shelf. You say, oh, do they have to keep stock with something so nice? Or is it so hideous that they can't sell it and have an abundance on the shelf? Let's see. On the nose. On the nose, the first thing you're hit with is grain alcohol, ethanol. I mean, and a sort of mechanic shop type note. There's a little bit of woodiness there. A slight amount of woodiness, a slight amount of herbaceousness too. There's not a lot going on the nose with Highland Queen. Highland Queen, they claim 1561, and as everybody knows, I mean, there was loads and loads and loads of distilleries since the 1400s in Scotland. None of them were officially licensed until the early 1800s, the 1820s. There was a lot of smuggling going around that, you know, I mentioned briefly in my review of the Old Smuggler, which is how it got its name. I don't really know much about the people who distill this. I couldn't find a lot about it doing research. Calling friends that know about whiskey or on the internet. But on the nose, there's very little going on. It's like a garage shop where you change motor oil. And that unidentifiable herbaceousness. Anyway, that's the nose. What about the taste? Okay, on the taste, it's a somewhat watery mouthfeel. It's not silky. It's not oily. You do get a lot of grain richness, and it's not a sweet grain. So that means it's very, very young, very immature grain. No more than 3 years and a day, I would say, the grain whiskey that's in this. You do get a touch of aniseed, a slight licoricey type note, but the thing that's the most prevalent is like a 3-in-1 machine oil. I don't know if you're familiar with that specifically, but it's a type of oil you put on cogs and pistons, and also it's used commonly in electric razors and electric cutters. That's abundantly what I get on the palate of this. It's a very, you get that oily flavor without the whiskey being oily. You know what I mean? It's rather thin, but it's an abundance of oily flavor. So before I even go into the finish on this, I am going to add, because it's so rich with grain, I'm going to add 3 milliliters, which is unusual for me adding 3 milliliters of water to something that's 40% ABV, but there you go. Trying to cut that richness down a little. I'm going to swirl this about some. No, okay, on the nose, after adding the water, you do get a suggestion toward honey and a suggestion toward caramel, which leads me to believe that it was done in American oak, ex-bourbon cask. You do get a bit of bitterness in this, so they're probably not first fill, second fill. They're probably third, fourth, fifth fill American oak cask, because you do get that bitterness, this real common in casks that are used repeatedly and for a short amount of time, 3 years. As far as the grain whiskey in this, like I said, 3 years and a day. That's probably what I would guesstimate is the age of that. The malts, I don't know which ones that are in here, but they're not. I would guesstimate that the oldest whiskey in this blend is 5 years. It's not a very old whiskey at all. It's very young, it's very rich, and things haven't settled down. I mean, it's very hot, what I call it, for a whiskey. Okay. Yeah, I mean, there is a hint of the malt there, but you get more of the grain than anything else. All right, after adding the water on the palate, yeah, after adding the water, it enhances that bitterness, and it tastes like that 3-in-1 machine oil mixed with an apple juice from concentrate, not a freshly squeezed, freshly processed apples. It's like a Welch's apple juice, something like that. Apple juice from concentrate, 3-in-1 machine oil, heavy grain, non-sweet grain, but just very hot and bitter. The finish is very bitter. So the casks that were used to maturate this, were older cask and had been used many times, and the whiskey itself is very young. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this particular whiskey. You can't find it in a lot of places, but the places you do find it, it's up to you. If you like that flavor profile, then by all means, this is a whiskey for you. For me, what I said is my honest opinions on what I'm getting out of this, and all the flannel on the back can be all the flannel that it chooses to be, but the taste is the taste, the smell is the smell. You can't change what that is. As far as marks out of 100 for this, I'm really going to have to put it at around a 72 out of 100. 71, 72, I'll give it a 72. Because maybe if you were to macerate this longer than what it is, it would be a better whiskey. The blending on this it seems a bit haphazard. There's been no care and no attention into melding the constituents together in a very harmonious way. It just seems random, shotgun approach to just blending. That's my opinion, and I couldn't give it more than a 72 out of 100. I don't have anything else to say about this whiskey. If you try it and you have a different opinion, please leave it in the comments below. Everybody's taste is different. Everybody's whiskey experience is different. I've been going on with drinking Scotch whiskey for over 35 years constantly, and I know what I like and I know what I don't like, and sometimes I like what I thought that I didn't like, and so on. But this is one that I'm glad I was introduced to it. I'm glad I came across it. I'm glad I met it. I'm glad I met the Highland Queen. However, she won't be getting much reverence from me in the future. And until next time, this is Tom. Like, subscribe, and leave comments, and hit that notification bell. Until next time, bye-bye.